Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you're having an awesome day wherever and whenever you're watching this. I'm your host Ayman Hasan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Now I honestly believe alternate realities do exist. Our world would be way too boring if they didn't. Or maybe I'm just trying to make life more cool than it actually is, I don't really know. Either way, if you're like me and want to believe, then this video may just be your last shred of hope to just cling on to that belief. But anyway, just to clarify, most of these points are about the existence of a multiverse, which I guess can be interchangeable with an alternate reality, but they're not exactly the same thing. Just putting that disclaimer out there. But anyway, don't know why I'm still talking. This is the top 10 scary pieces of evidence alternate realities exist. Starting us off at number 10 is the cold spot. According to a study published by the Royal Astronomical Society, there's a patch of cool space called the cold spot which can be seen in the radiation produced by the Big Bang more than 13 billion years ago. It was first discovered by one of NASA's satellites in 2004 and then confirmed by ESA's Planck mission in 2013. The latest study actually ruled out the pre-existing explanation for this, which was that the cold spot was an optical illusion produced by a lack of intervening galaxies. One of the authors of the study said the cold spot could very well be caused by a collision between our universe and another bubble universe. Every bubble universe has its own laws of physics that could be similar to ours or completely different. So that ending statement still makes everything inconclusive, but it may be evidence. Coming in at number 9 is deja vu and co. So pretty sure we've all experienced deja vu multiple times in our life, so I'm not gonna bother explaining it. But the co part of the title was referring to other phenomenons. The first being deja vu, which means you instinctively know what's about to happen next, and the second being alter vu, which is when someone feels like their whole history has been altered somehow. So to make that clearer, when certain memories just aren't really meshing with reality, that's what alter vu is. And deja vu and deja vu are said to be memories bleeding into our reality from an alternate self. Alter vu, on the other hand, is meant to indicate being transferred to a completely new timeline and universe while still remembering things from your previous one. So next time you feel any of these things, just think twice and think very deeply about what's going on. At number 8 we have the Mandela effect. And now we have talked about the Mandela effect in another video, but if you haven't seen it then I'll give you a quick recap. So the Mandela effect was formed by paranormal researcher Fiona Broome, who realized she remembered a huge historical event completely differently to everybody around her. She said she clearly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s, when in real life, or at least this reality, he died in 2013 at home. She didn't understand this because she remembered his death so vividly. She voiced her doubts online and realized there were so many other people who shared the same memory as her, to the point they remember being taught about his death in the 80s in school. There's another example, like in Star Wars, most people remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." Me definitely included, but the actual line is, "No, I am your father." I feel like really hardcore fans will know that, but clearly I'm not. She then formulated the idea that this huge gap between reality could very well be because some people, and in this case the people who remember the 80s death, had somehow managed to splinter off and shift between parallel dimensions, but still kept in contact with, I guess, this dimension. Hence their memories of an old and different timeline doesn't always line up with our world, or our timeline, and that was coined the Mandela effect. The end. Filling our number 7 slot is eternal inflation. So this isn't a physical piece of evidence, but it's a significantly backed up scientific theory, so good luck to me trying to explain this. So let's start at the start. The Big Bang was an event that created our universe when it expanded outwards faster than the speed of light, and that process is called inflation. I honestly feel like Bill Nye the Science Guy right now. So according to cosmologist Alexander Vilenkin, some areas of space-time stop inflating but others keep expanding. In that regard, the Big Bang stopped expanding all of a sudden for our universe, but according to the theory of inflationary multiverse, it kept expanding into multiple parallel universes, creating more and more infinite realities, and we just happen to be one of them. If they do exist, they're a bubble universe probably right next to us or even overlapping with us. Now at number 6 is the case of LENIA BARCIA. Now this Spanish woman woke up in her Madrid apartment one day and was hit with the realization that something was very wrong. She didn't recognize the bed sheets she had just woken up on, some items from her apartment were missing, whereas there were some items she had had never even seen before. But the worst part was her boyfriend. She just couldn't find him anymore. She then tried to look for his number in her phone, couldn't find it. She asked her friends about him, none of them knew who she was talking about. She then reported him missing to the police, and they told her there was no records of that person even existing. A psychiatrist offered that perhaps LENIA was hallucinating due to stress, but she vehemently disagreed. She wasn't stressed, something was wrong. She went to visit her family and spoke about her sister's surgery that had happened a few months prior, and her parents and sister had no recollection of that event. Even when she went to work, everything was anarchy. She now worked for the same company but in a different department in a different part of the world. She told her boss she was ill and went home even though she had to figure out who her boss was, yet the boss seemed to know her pretty well, yet she didn't know him at all. She's never been declared mentally ill, and she's not a drinker or a drug user, but she thoroughly believes that she slipped into another universe, only a bit different from her own universe, but now she can just never get back there, because she doesn't even know how she got to this one to begin with. Coming at number 5 are ghosts. Now I know ghosts are almost always exclusively linked to the dead, and that ghosts are known to just be dead people haunting us or their spirits, but that's actually never been proven. We keep looking towards science for the answers, but the answer may be a lot simpler than we think. People have offered that ghosts are actually living beings from a parallel universe. They could very easily be visions through breaches between planes and into alternate realities that exist in unison with ours. That's why we can never see ghosts that well. They're always just mirages. They could just be real people that are flickering into our worlds from theirs, and we could very well be doing the same in their world. For all I know, I could be appearing as a vision over there right now, but some little kid probably is shitting himself thinking I'm a ghost. Another explanation for ghosts could be that they're humans that live with us but exist in a totally different realm or timeline, hence they're never fully here and we can't observe them properly with our senses. But maybe they can with theirs. I would take that explanation over them being evidence of the afterlife any day, because it's just a lot less scary and I can sleep better at night that way. At number 4 is ancient light. Caltech cosmologist Ranga Ramchari found evidence of cosmic bruising, which he thinks is evidence of a parallel universe. Cosmic bruising basically means one universe bumping against another universe. In his study published in the Astrophysical Journal, he said cosmic bruising may explain an anomaly in a cosmic microwave background produced using data from ESA's Planck Observatory. When he compared the map created to a map of the night sky, he found this unexplainable blob of bright light. The cosmic background shows bursts of ancient light displaying radiation signatures from just a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang. And I know that seems like a long time, but in the bigger picture it's probably like a minute. Ancient light is the result of the recombinations of electrons and protons that initially teamed up to make hydrogen. And hydrogen only gives off a limited range of visible light, so all astronomers know which colors they should be and which colors they shouldn't be. And the blob he found on the map wasn't the color it should have been, and he posited that our universe may have just simply been a region within another eternally inflating superregion. That's nice. Filling our number 3 slot is quantum mechanics. Science teacher Ayman is back at it again, people. And I don't know how I'm gonna make quantum mechanics easy to understand in 1 minute, but I'm gonna try, so bear with me. And for the record, none of this is in dispute, so you can't slate me in the comments, cause even scientists aren't doing it, so haha. Now, so quantum particles exist at the subatomic level and are the smallest particles in existence. Well, from what we've discovered so far. These particles exist in a superposition state, which means they either exist in 2 places at once or they're spinning in 2 different directions simultaneously. That's their standby state. Are we understanding so far? Are we all getting this? I feel like that was a simple part. I cannot make this simpler, believe me, I tried. So this is the hard part. When these particles are not being observed in their standby state, they're taking on every possible state, position, configuration that they can. And when they're observed, the state or configuration that they're in becomes adopted, and so that's set in stone now. But at the same time, it spawns like billions of other alternate timelines in the process. Basically, these particles can be in so many configurations, and all of them represent an alternate version of reality, but we literally can't even begin to count how many possible combinations of factors and outcomes there are, but it's science. Heck, even physicists haven't even fully understood it. How am I meant to make you guys understand it on YouTube? But I think that was pretty easy to understand, and it also makes your mind wander to every possible thing that can happen, or could happen, or is happening. Dun dun dun. Now at number 2 is the black hole theory. So black holes are apparently useful for something other than stretching us into non-existence. Now the idea of black holes being gateways to parallel universes has been part of sci-fi plots for like forever. But Stephen Hawking himself believes in parallel universes, and he calculated that black holes aren't just giant sinkholes where nothing ever survives. In his final calculations, he discovered that mathematically black holes must end. Eventually they have to, they just do. Based on his calculations, he realized black holes actually start to leak information and eventually explode, and that explosion would release previously trapped particles in any form. Emphasis on any if you didn't get that the first time. Being ejected via explosion wouldn't just throw someone back to where they came from, it would make them reappear somewhere else, most likely an alternate universe, and who knows what form they'll even reappear in. And finally, at number 1 is The Professor. Now this story took place in the early 1970s on the campus of the University of the Andes in Venezuela. A prominent unnamed professor has been missing for the last 40-50 years, and how he disappeared has led people to believe he slipped into a parallel world. One afternoon, many students saw him walking across the parking lot of one of the buildings. He even stopped to chat with a student as he went to his car. He got to his car, he saw some students wave at him, and he waved back. And when he finally got into the car and closed the door, he straight up disappeared. And I'm not talking disappeared as in he drove away and was never seen again. No, the car was never driven, it was just stood there and he sat in the car and disappeared into thin air. After police conducted interviews with witnesses, it was concluded no one saw him get out of the car either. The story was so big it was even covered by El Tiempo, one of the largest Venezuelan newspapers. Like, how did he just disappear like that? Mind blown. And that's it for today's video, guys. There are so many things scientists are trying to test right now to see if we are in fact in a multiverse, not a universe. I honestly think one day they will find out, but I also feel like it isn't going to be in my lifetime, but I'm so excited for it either way. Do you guys believe in alternate realities? Talk to me in the comments, and as always, I'm your host Ayman Hasan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!